For those who don't know me or are otherwise generally unaware, I'm a big fan of puzzle games. Solo, co-op, I just love them real bad, despite the fact that I'm kind of dumb as fuck. When I was a child, my parents enrolled me and my siblings into this Reader's Digest promotional thingamajig called Computers for Learning, which was predominantly sponsored by the Learning Company and Ubisoft. As a result, we got sent a full computer set, as well as a big binder full of classic edutainment games and software. It had some classics in it like Reader Rabbit, Carmen Sandiego, The Oregon Trail 3, Tonic Trouble, Jazz Jackrabbit 2, The Logical Journey of the Zumbinis, SimCity 2000, and of course, MYST. Now, being fully transparent about my life, I didn't actually play a lot of PC games when I was growing up. I was, in fact, a console pleb. I know. I'm sorry, I know. Sacrilege in the angry gamer review community. But alas, I am no angry gamer. Most of my childhood was dedicated to the handful of GameCube, PlayStation 1, and Wii titles that I had at the time. But as I've grown older, I've become invested in checking out and experiencing retro PC titles that people seem to love, such as No One Lives Forever, Prey, Unreal Tournament, Call of Duty and its expansion pack, Star Wars Battlefront 2, and a metric fuckton more. One, though, has really caught my eye because it seemed like most of the internet personalities I grew up watching all really liked it. MYST is kind of hard to describe beyond what it literally is. It's a point-and-click adventure game using pre-rendered 3D scenes, and helped in part with the popularization of the use of CD-ROM software for games, instead of the use of floppy disks. Actually, CYAN Inc., the developers of MYST, first title, The Manhole, was the first ever game released on CD-ROM for PC in 1989, 1 year after its initial release on floppy disk in 1988. At least it was the first CD-ROM PC game here in the West, as Japan I think had a handful of PC CD-ROM titles in the very late months of 1988. Released in 1993, MYST was practically an immediate success, due in large part to how different it was to other point-and-click adventure games on the market, such as Leisure Suit Larry, Day of the Tentacle, Sam & Max, and The Seventh Guest. In its presentation, gameplay, and storytelling. Unlike the other games, MYST was an early adopter of using pre-rendered 3D graphics for its environments instead of hand-drawn sprite animation like Sam & Max or Day of the Tentacle, instead being more akin to The Seventh Guest, where actors in FMV cutscenes are composited over a 3D pre-rendered scene. MYST left out a lot of the classic puzzle adventure game systems, puzzles that could kill the player, as well as deciding to negate the idea of a central villain by allowing the player to side with either Cirrus or Aknar, the two antagonists of MYST, with both offering the same outcome if sided with. Various places say MYST doesn't really have an inciting incident, but I disagree. Its inciting incident is the player going to MYST after discovering Atris's book, and then exploring the island. However, I believe they're talking more about the conflict of the game, as it's never really clear about which brother actually burned Atris's library, as all the books we can read imply that both brothers are at least in part responsible for it. What also got people invested was MYST's non-linear story. Instead, the story plays out through various books and messages left in imagers by Cirrus, Aknar, and Atris throughout the game. Most of the story is told through what remains of Atris's library after one of the sons burnt it down, leaving only a handful of books left. The mystery of what happened and who these men are, along with the amazing ambience, really helped sell the believability of the world of MYST. Now, truthfully, despite how graphically impressive it was at the time, MYST's graphics have aged quite a bit, and as a result, CYAN Inc. regularly released newer versions of the game to introduce more people to it. However, before we discuss the updated version of MYST, let me just say that I think MYST has been ported so often, it's genuinely able to rival Doom in what it can run on. For those curious, MYST in any of its forms is available on PC CD-ROM, Mac OS, Android, iOS, Nintendo DS, Nintendo 3DS, PlayStation, PlayStation Portable, PlayStation 3, Atari Jaguar, 3DO, Amiga OS, Philips CDI, Pocket PC, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Sega Saturn, Oculus Quest, and Oculus Quest 2. But that's not all. MYST also had many remasters and remakes. After a few years, MYST was already starting to show its age, so CYAN Inc. polished up the sounds and visuals to create MYST Masterpiece Edition. And then they did it again with the rise of real-time 3D, creating realMYST, the interactive 3D edition, which gave players the ability to freely look around, still moving through the use of point and click, although it was a lot more open due to the free look. Then in 2014, after a stint of porting the original MYST to as many platforms as possible, they remade it from the ground up for Unity, calling it realMYST Masterpiece Edition, which is the version of MYST we'll be discussing today. Yeah, I bet you forgot this was a game review, didn't you? Because I sure as shit did when I started writing the script. Now, I have a handful of copies of MYST in my possession. One copy that I got from a binder of games that I mentioned at the start of the video, a full copy in a jewel case I got from a thrift store, as well as the special 10th anniversary DVD edition with MYST Masterpiece Edition, Riven, and MYST 3 Exile. And lastly, a digital copy of realMYST Masterpiece Edition on Steam, which is the version I will be discussing today. I'm only talking about realMYST Masterpiece today because my Windows XP tower is broken and I don't have a CD drive on this computer to be able to run any of the older versions of MYST, so that's why I picked realMYST Masterpiece Edition. As I said earlier, realMYST for a long while was considered the easiest and best, mostly, way to play MYST. At least it's the most easily accessible, being less than $20 on every platform, allowing more modern players to use the free roam option instead of being forced to use the point and click option, which is considered most of the time now to be a relic of the past. The visuals, honestly, and the community kind of agrees, have this weird kind of sheen to them. Everything feels kind of plasticky. Things like wood and stone feel like toy models, or at least have a fakey and cheapo feel to it. At the very least, it looks kinda weird to me, and a lot of people agree. It's a big point of contention within the MYST fanbase, with some even saying that the original 2000s realMYST is a better Masterpiece Edition than the official one is. Something that most people unanimously agree is substantially better in realMYST Masterpiece is the sound design. The sounds in this game are amazingly immersive. Everything sounds so real and natural. It's kind of crazy they were able to pull it off so well in 2014. The music when it's used is very nice. It makes some moments feel a lot more immersive and believable than they would without it, such as the moment you turn on the glow room in the Stone Ship Age. MYST is really played best if you go in completely blind. So I highly suggest that if you've never played MYST and you have enjoyed what I've talked about so far, then you should really go play it for yourself before coming back to this review. If you want to watch the video before that though, you can skip to 36:24 to avoid all of the puzzle and story bits, because I really do think that MYST is best played completely blind so you can figure everything out for yourself. As I've stated earlier, the story of MYST is a puzzle to discern in of itself. It's not entirely spelt out for you, but you can glean the basic story from listening to Cirrus, Aknar, and Atris's messages, and it goes a little something like this. Sometime, many moons ago, a brilliant and gifted man named Atris had the special ability to travel to far-off lands in far-off times called ages. Through writing special books known as linking books, Atris, along with his wife Catherine, had two sons, Aknar, and Surus. Over the years, Atris would explore fascinating and mesmerizing new worlds with his sons. Though as the sons grew older and were allowed to explore these worlds on their own, they had become corrupted by greed and madness. This malice growing within them caused one of the brothers to snap and destroy most of Atris's library on the island of Myst. Due to not knowing which son did this, Atris entrapped each brother within their own trap book, Surus in the red one, Aknar in the blue. These would be the brothers' homes for the next 20 years. While Atris explored more, he found himself within a world called Kavir, which he would spend his time writing the linking book back to Myst. Years later, the stranger discovers a Myst linking book and travels to the island of the same name, where they soon begin to explore. Soon they find two colored books, a red one which contains a small imager that holds Surus prisoner in the Age of Spire, the other a blue book which holds Aknar within the Age of Haven. These two have been trapped within these books for the last 20 years due to Atris believing they are both suspect in the burning of his beloved library. However, the two brothers agree on one thing: do not touch the green book, as they both say that touching it will trap the stranger forever. However, Atris left a handful of messages for his wife Catherine to find when she returned. The first message, a note on the ground, tells Catherine to check the imager in the bunker on the dock of the island, which holds another message, telling about the destruction of the library and how Atris will be leaving soon, later revealed to be the green book, Kavir. After, the stranger begins to explore the ages and find the various pages, as well as two halves of a message left in Channelwood and Stoneship. This message tells of a secret vault kept on Myst, accessed through having the proper levers switched on and off. This vault contains the final paper that Atris needs to leave Kavir. Giving Atris the final page allows him to return to Myst and once and for all destroy the red and blue books, locking Surus and Aknar forever in their respective ages. When Atris returns to Kavir, he asks the stranger to assist in stopping Atris's father, Gen, and rescue Atris's wife Catherine, who is stuck on Riven, setting up the sequel of the same name. Myst puzzles are often very straightforward, as the game is never really too shy about giving you the direct answer. It's the responsibility of the player to connect the dots, however strange they may be. In realMYST Masterpiece, you visit a total of 7 locations, with the puzzles in each age being either pretty straightforward or irritatingly obtuse. In Channelwood, all there is for puzzles is figuring out how to get the water flow to the right elevator and opening the door that is locked. Most of the other interesting moments in Channelwood are the notes and messages left by Surus and Aknar.
I hope I pushed the right button. Very interesting device. I'm not erasing anything important, am I? He is preparing. Remember, take only one page.
But the Selenic Age is almost entirely based on sound, which I personally have a hard time discerning sounds, especially when it comes to music. Selenic's final puzzle before the linking book is a maze-like roller coaster that is so incredibly obtuse, most people will take a while figuring it out on their first playthrough. In hindsight, it seems pretty obvious, but for the first time playing it, it doesn't really explain anything. However, I quite like the difficulty scaling of the puzzles. It makes me personally feel more accomplished, even though some of the puzzles are kind of irritating. Something else I like is how strong the theming of each age is. Everything feels natural as it exists, even something so out there like the Selenic age or the Mechanical age. Even though a notable criticism some have had in retrospect is how disconnected all of the ages feel. I disagree with those criticisms though, because personally, I feel the striking differences between the ages actually help make them stand out, though that's a subjective perspective. On the note of ages, let's discuss them, shall we? The Mechanical Age is this giant iron rotating fortress, and it feels like a vault of treasures, because both Surus and Aknar's rooms are filled with trinkets and treasures showcasing what they both value. Surus's room has 3 crystals in it that very strongly resemble the crystals seen in Rime later in the game, because when he was younger, Atris had taken Surus to Rime to help set up the crystal viewer, much to Surus's enjoyment. His secret room also contains chests of gold and racks of fine wine, showing off his greed and desire for the fancier things in life. Aknar's room, having the rotation control of the fortress, also has many weapons and shackles on the walls and floor, and many people have pointed out that Aknar has a very vested interest in the human body, as it's shown he keeps a decomposing head in one of the boxes, as well as an electric cage in his secret room. The puzzles within this age consist of tinkering with gears and technology, mostly figuring out the rotation of the island to find the correct symbols needed to open the linking book vault. Before going into Channelwood, we first have to make a quick pit stop to the Crow's Nest to see carvings of Adam and Jamie from the Mythbusters, next to the Riven Dagger.
Without the
Actually,
screens.
it's a funny story that lots of people don't know. The big knife that sticks in the ground that falls over at the end of Riven, if you get all the way to the end.
I didn't make it to the end of Riven.
I didn't either, but I know about it because I actually built that knife. I made when they did Riven, they did a mixture of CG and live action for the.
This is an honorable mention to the two, as Adam Savage actually made the Riven Dagger prop, but as far as I'm aware, they didn't wind up using it, so they just have it hanging in their office now. The Stone Ship Age feels like a shipwreck that someone just built off of. Most of the age requires a makeshift electric and water generator system to work, and then when you delve into the rooms of the brothers, you find out more about their personalities, and that both of them have a weird trinket in their room that serves no real purpose. Surus has this thing as well as coins, gems, and other treasures plundered from others during his piracy with Aknar, further showing off his greed. And Aknar has this mini imager that shows a rose that can turn into a skull when you slide the lever. It's hotly contested what this possibly means, but it's besides the point. He also has a lamp made out of a rib cage, which is something that he took as a trophy from brutalizing the Black Ship pirates, showing the sickness of his mind. The Stone Ship's puzzles are fairly simple. The first major part of the age is finding the rotational degree of the lighthouse so that you can push in the correct light on the compass of the glow room, activating the entire lighting system of the age. The second major part is moving the water around to get to the hand crank generator that actually powers the glow room, which is in the lighthouse. You also have to move the water out of the cave system to get to Surus's room, Aknar's room, and the glow room, and the underground cabin of the boat to get to the linking book. Channelwood is the most natural age, residing mostly within these tall trees. Aknar's room contains an imager left by him for the natives of Channelwood, who have long since passed. I'm unable to translate, but the tone of it is very threatening. Surus's room is very organized and seems fully furnished, while Aknar's room is more natural and unfurnished, further supporting the idea that Surus has a more refined taste than Aknar does. Channelwood's puzzles are finding the lever to open the door to the higher levels, as well as directing water through a pipe system to operate the elevators. Aside from the Mist Island itself, the Selenic Age is the only age that wasn't natively populated when Atris linked to it. As a result, Surus and Aknar have no respective rooms in it, but the comparison can be made that The Oasis is more aligned with Cirrus's tastes, being more fancy and alluring, while the Chasm is more erratic and unstable, much like Aknar. The main puzzle of this age is this tall speaker system, of which you need to point the satellites in the correct direction of the sounds to find the sequence of sounds to open the door to the Maze Runner. The two brothers work together to craft the Maze Runner, which, like I said earlier, is one of the most difficult puzzles in the game on the first playthrough. It's a long, convoluted maze that you need to listen for sound cues to know where you need to go. But it's a very fun ride when you know what to do, and it leads directly to the linking book. The final areas are Kavir, where Atris is, and only in the realMYST versions of the game is Rhyme, an extra age that holds only the observatory that Atris had built with Cirrus, and in it is a crystal-enhanced linking book which allowed Atris to view Riven. MYST has 3 distinct endings, but 4 endings overall, only one of which is able to be triggered per playthrough just due to how they work. The first ending is gathering all of the specifically colored pages and then putting them in the respective books, in which the brother trapped within will then escape from their prison, putting the stranger into their place instead.
Yes, I'm free. Oh, thank you, my friend. My dear friend, you've done the right thing. You stupid fool. It looks like perhaps you're in the book now. And what have we here? A page. Oh no. I hope you enjoy your new home as much as I enjoyed it. I can't see you. You're getting less clear. I hope you're in the books. The library looks much the same as I left. Oh, I can know. Goodbye.
Oh yes, I'm free! Oh, I feel alive! And how do you feel, my friend? Oh, and what have we here? Perhaps the pages you worked so hard for? Whoops! Yes! Oh. Perhaps you're seeing the world from my point of view. Yes. Oh. Sinners. There's my brother. Oh, yes. Oh. Maybe someone will rescue you someday.
These endings basically play out the same, the only difference is being which book he gets stuck in and the final cutscene from the brother. The brother will then destroy the book the stranger is stuck in by ripping out all of the pages, and it's unknown what they do after this. Ignoring the final red and blue pages, instead going into the green book hidden with the final pages, will send you to Kavir, where Atris is finalizing the linking book for the age. He then asks you if you brought the final white page, which he asked you to bring before you entered the book.
Who the devil are you? Don't come here to Dunny, not yet. Oh, I have many questions for you, my friend, as you no doubt have for me. Where should I begin? Perhaps my story is in order. My name is Atris. I feel you've met my son, Cirrus and Achenar, in the red and blue books on MYST Island in my library. My library. It contains my works, my writings. Oh, I wrote many books that linked me to fantastic places. It's an art I learned from my father many years ago. Oh, but the red and blue books, those were different. I wrote those books to entrap over greedy explorers who might stumble upon my island of mist. But I had no idea my own sons would be entrapped. My sons. Cirrus and Achenar. We had many journeys together. I gave them free rein to the books. Perhaps it was not wise. I could see the greed growing in them. I had not told them about the red and blue books. Their imaginations went wild. They dreamed of riches and power. Of course, they did not know the books were traps. They begged me for access to those books, and I, of course, denied them. Oh, they devised a plan. An evil plan. I had no idea to what extent their greed had progressed. Their own mother. Oh, my own dear Catherine. They used her to lure me here to Dunny. Of course, I could return to MYST, except they removed a single page from my MYST linking book. I cannot return without that page. You, my friend, can bring that page to me. Oh, I pray you believe my story above the lies that my sons have told you. If you could find it in yourself to return that page to me here in Dunny, I could go to MYST and bring justice to my sons for what they've done. I must return to my writing. I pray that you believe me. Please hurry. Bring the page. Bring the page with you.
Which is located in the first lever mechanism on the dock. After flicking every lever on the island up and then the dock lever back down, will open the vault to the page. Giving it to Atris will allow him to finish the linking book, where he will then go back to the MYST Island and destroy the red and blue books, trapping the brothers forever.
Ah, my friend. You've returned. And the page. Did you bring the page? Ah, give it to me. You've done the right thing. I have a difficult choice to make. My sons have betrayed me. I know what I must do. I shall return shortly. It is done.
Atris then returns to Kavir and asks the stranger to aid him in rescuing Catherine from Riven and stopping Gon from his tyrannical reign over the age. This ending is considered the good ending, with all others being considered the bad endings, and the red/blue entrapment being the worst possible outcome. If you go into the green book without grabbing the last white page for Atris, the stranger and Atris will be then stuck within Kavir forever.
Ah, my friend. You've returned. We meet face to face. And the page, did you bring the page? You didn't bring the page. You didn't bring the page. What kind of fool are you? Did you not take my warning seriously? Welcome to Dunny. You and I will live here forever.
This will come as a surprise to a lot of people, but MYST is actually really easy to speedrun, but not in the same way that, like, speedrunners will tell you Doom or Quake or Mario 64 is easy. MYST relies heavily on you playing it blind, and given the technological constraints of early 90s PC games, MYST has one set path, which you can cheese by only solving 3 puzzles. The first puzzle being that clock set puzzle for the clock tower, the second one being the lever puzzle around the island, and the final one being the fireplace puzzle in the library. Here's footage of me doing it.
done the right thing. I have a difficult choice to make.
MYST on a first blind playthrough should take about 4 to 5 hours, but on a repeat playthrough should be about 2.5 hours if you do everything, or about 10 to 15 minutes if you already know how to get to Kavir. After realMYST Masterpiece Edition, CYAN started to work on a new title called Abduction, which, in the same vein as MYST, is a game about the player traveling to a new world and relying on your wits to get you back home. I haven't played it yet because I'm still working on obtaining and playing the various MYST titles, but I will play it soon. In 2020, CYAN Worlds Inc. released MYST, which is another from-the-ground-up remake of the original, initially designed to be a VR remake for the Oculus. It's also received a non-VR version for those without it. I haven't played it yet, and a few friends have, and they've said generally positive things about it, despite not being as big into MYST as I am. But from what I've seen, it looks amazing. Hopefully soon I'll be able to experience the glory of MYST 2020, and if I do, you'll probably see me stream it over on twitch.tv/BreadTheLoaf. In 2019, CYAN announced a Kickstarter for a game called Firmament, which is like the rest of their titles, players transported to new areas called realms, and they must find their way out. And after 4 years of development, it finally released, and it seems to be getting a pretty positive reception. Despite the controversy. I've also yet to play it, but I bet you I will on stream as well. CYAN has also announced that they're working on a remake of Riven, the 1997 sequel to MYST. That hasn't had nearly the same amount of ports or remasters to it. Currently, not much is known about it, so we'll have to wait and see what information comes out. This is going to sound like a side tangent, because it is, but it's also something that I found very interesting and I didn't know where else to put it in the video. While I was researching this, I found out that since Doom and MYST released in the same year, there was a lot of discussion about the two games. The massive quotations, by the way, gaming, news, reviews, tips, and more website, Kotaku. I know, Kotaku, just hold on for a second. Around the time of realMYST Masterpiece's release, they actually published an article discussing what the co-creator of Doom, John Romero, and the co-creator of MYST, Rand Miller, thought about each other's games. They were both interviewed by Game Center director Frank Lance, who asked each dev what they thought about the opposite's game. Interestingly, they had practically the same response to each other's work, being surprised that the other game was so popular, and that they had thought it was very interesting. Now, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but Romero was surprised that people were so enthralled with an adventure game so serene and calm compared to his hyper-violent run-and-gun game. And Miller had the same response in reverse, that he was surprised people were having so much fun excavating the insides of demons with a double-barrel shotgun. Sorry for the tangent, I thought it was fascinating. I may make a whole video about this at some point because I like both Doom and MYST a lot, and they, for some reason, had their releases around the same time until the 2010s. Fuck, okay, I keep talking about it, so I'm ending it here. Thanks for watching. This was a lot more than I originally thought it would be. I didn't realize I'd have so much to talk about with a relatively straightforward game, but sometimes it's just like that, you know? But man, MYST is cool as fuck though. I really enjoyed delving into the world, and as a result, I'm definitely going to check out the rest of the series and versions of MYST. I'm also really highly considering checking out all of the books too. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. Now, that's going to be all for today, so if you'll excuse me, I have some business to attend to.